So, here at rehab, I have therapy. I have a therapist. And last week we really talked about what I hoped to get out of this and what I wanted to do. And I wanted to remember things I can't remember. Like, I literally don't have much memory of my childhood, high school, really. 20 to 30, not really. And I find that just a little bit off-putting. I mean, it's off-putting anyway, but because I don't know if there's something in there that's causing some other stuff, some trauma, maybe I don't remember, that's causing some other things to happen. And unless I know what it is and can throw some compassion at it, comprehend it, and process it, I can't get that program it created out of me that's running in the background and running my life when I don't know it's affecting me. And for those of you brave enough, I started recording this. The wind knocked my phone down, and it really shouldn't have. So I took that as a sign, not now. Have lunch, process, come back. So I did. Brainspotting is where my therapist put a pen right here, had me look at that spot, and then describe the situation I can remember to the best of my ability. And then she would move it to the side and ask me what I'm feeling, move it back, what am I feeling, here, what am I feeling, up and down. And right here, what I was feeling was a time that I went through sexual abuse. I've always known something happened. And this isn't one of those things where it's like, oh, your mind is making something up. I remember something happened. I don't remember to the extent of what happened. It hasn't really affected me too greatly. There are some ways in which maybe it has that I will admit and reveal because I'm being open. But I felt like when I went through the situation and described it, and this wasn't with my parents, this wasn't with any family members at all, this was with a babysitter's older son. So nobody you even know. I barely remember this person. And I described it, and it felt like a balloon went in my chest. Not so big that I couldn't breathe, but it was uncomfortable. And I could tell that like I wanted relief from it. I was waiting for the relief from it. I thought this was going to help me. She'd moved the pen over to the right. Didn't feel as bad. She moved it to the left. It kind of felt the same. Up and down felt pretty much the same as the middle. So we went through it, and she was asking me questions, and eventually it did get to be too much. I didn't think that would happen. I pride myself on being able to handle a lot, and to my downfall sometimes, but I eventually had to say, hey, like, I'm ready for grounding now. Something that's going to ground me, because this is starting to it got to a point where I was like, okay, is this really that strong? And in a second, am I going to lose my shit? And it was like, yes. So I pulled back. But it was interesting because all these different memories came up when I pulled back. There was a memory of me and my stepdad, who's my dad, when he must have lost his keys somewhere along the route to the place where we drop off the trailer when I was little. And I remember hearing the yelling and anger when he was frustrated from this thing. It wasn't snowing, but there was snow on the ground. It was cold. We were by an elementary school in Hastings, Nebraska. I remember this specifically. I was very young. And I realized it's weird how it took me to, oh, that's how I deal with being annoyed or like pissed about something. If something doesn't go my way, I'm pissed and I'm yelling. And that's how I used to handle things. And then it took me to the fact that my mom had to work a lot. She worked a lot of overnights as an x-ray tech at a hospital, and I just recall not telling her about this, what happened to me. And it took me to, I never really trusted myself after that, because I couldn't stand up for myself or defend myself enough to tell. Not mad at myself, not trusting myself because of what happened, but more so I didn't do that. And, it took me to how, I didn't have a great relationship with my stepdad at all. It was not good. It was not the father-son relationship I hope for with my own son someday. Hopefully I have my own child, girl or boy. It wasn't good. It wasn't something I would like to see putting someone through. But it took me to the place where I never really stood up for myself. I never really said, this isn't right. I mean, you're little and you don't have the words, and I didn't trust myself even more. And then, when I got divorced, my ex-wife was talking to my dad and telling him all these things. Some of them were true. some of them weren't, and getting, money and things like that I did not know about. And she ended up kind of seeing someone, the person she's married to now. And my dad knew this shit, and he didn't tell me. And I still just forgave him for that. I'm just going to forgive you. I'm not going to ever rock the boat, because when I was younger, he had complete control, and that's how it was. He needs control. I now need control. And look, that he's doing the best he can. This is what he knows. His dad was an alcoholic and abusive. This is what he knows. We pass along the pattern. I love him. There's nothing, our relationship is much different now. But just that distrust that I have for myself, I never stood up for myself. And it's weird how it took me to all these different things, and it just reminds you, we always protect our abusers. Like, I remember I made him the best man at my wedding. We were not really friends. I just wanted him to be I wanted to be safe. I wanted him to like me, and it's gone on through my life. And now that things are changing and I am taking care of myself, I had my eyes closed and I went to a version of myself. I looked at him when he was little, and I actually said these things in my head. I was like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. That shouldn't happen to a little boy. And I'm sorry that there wasn't anybody there to protect you. We don't have to be a victim. Our parents were doing the best they could, working overnights and working his ass off like they couldn't be there. But I'm here now, and we're safe. This isn't here anymore. And I remember in this moment, I went and picked myself up like I would my son if this happened to him. And I said, you're safe. I'm going to take care of you. We're going to go. And I said, if there's something ever comes up with this, which it might and probably will, I'm always here to listen to you and to hear you out. You're a strong person. You're a strong little man. And we're going to get through this together. And healing started to happen. But I'm a long ways into understanding the past is the past, and I'm safe. It's not here. So if that's not you, if it's real in the moment, like I felt it in my body, if it's more than that, brain spotting may not be the answer, but it also may be a step of working towards, slowly de-escalating that situation for you. But I definitely know that had a lot to do with things like that. Not trusting myself, knowing something happened, whatever, was a part of me numbing and forgetting that. So it was interesting. I'm a lot more calm than I was. I was going to have a panic attack, man. It was distressing. And now that I'm here, I'm glad that I'm working towards helping myself. In this meditation the other day, I was walking towards myself. And when I saw him, he was everything I wanted me to be. And it was surprising because when I got to him, I had so many questions, but he said to me, thank you for taking care of me, which is now here at rehab, the things I'm doing. He said, thank you for accepting me, who I am, and for loving me, caring for me. And I was like, wow, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking care of him, the future him. And so, whatever it may be, healing comes from the darkness. Darkness has its teachings, and you can't rush your healing. So I'm hoping that alcoholics, addicts like me, someone has gone through that abuse. I don't remember it being a lot, but it definitely played into some things with my sexuality. And to have the courage for yourself, not you need courage, buck up. It's more like the courage for you to go back and take care of the younger you and be who you needed then, now.